Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us on this our second video in the TED20 series. As we mentioned in our last video, the very first job that has to be done is to move this tractor down from the shed where it's currently parked into our workshop. What I'm showing here is we're planning on using the hole that's in the center of the pivot pin as a guide for a tow bar. So we're hoping to use this fence post, which is still in reasonable condition, and the general idea is to put a metal pin in the center of this post that can then slot into that hole in the center pivot, and obviously we'll keep that in place and keep it secure. And then on the other end we'll put a loop, a metal loop, which will then hitch or connect to the tow hitch on the other tractor, and that will keep the two tractors apart safely. And obviously we'll use a ratchet strap then as the essentially to bind the two together, and we'll also have a safety chain just in case anything should happen to the ratchet strap. We're hoping that that will allow us to move the tractor safely from the barn into the workshop where we can start the restoration job. Follow along and see how we go. So here I am just finishing off the making of the tow bar. Just capping the metal rod just to make sure it's actually embedded into the wooden post, and just capping it to make sure that that doesn't come loose, just with a couple of wood screws in each end through some angle line which is holding the metal bar down. So there we have essentially the loop that will go through and connect to the tow hitch on the front tractor, and that will provide us with the pulling, or the connection to the pulling tractor. And then on the other end you'll see, just reposition the camera, you'll see there the pin that I was talking about, which will go into that hole in the center pivot on the TED20, and that'll just help the bar to stay in place. It'll be strapped and chained. So there we have it. The tow bar is installed, connecting the two tractors together, keeping them apart, effectively providing the braking force. The ratchet strap nice and tight, and that's obviously providing the pulling force. And then safety chain looped around just to make sure, in case a ratchet strap should snap. I've got no reason to believe that it will, but obviously just to be absolutely safe. And there we have our lucky driver who's going to be taking the TED down to the workshop. Oscar is filming because obviously we're both busy steering tractors, so you may find some of the footage a little bit shaky from time to time. I have to say that given that he's only 8, he did a wonderful job. We couldn't quite turn through the 90 degrees that we needed to get down the ramp onto the lawn, so we needed to do a little bit of maneuvering here, just reversing back to give us a better angle down to the ramp, and heading off down the ramp onto the lawn. Again, we needed to turn around. I want to back the tractor into the workshop, so just lining up, getting ready to head down the hill. Oscar decided to take shelter under a jacaranda tree because it was drizzling a little bit at this point, so excuse the leaf framing. The camera doesn't do this gradient justice. It is steep enough that in the winter, when the lawn is both wet and obviously the ground is a bit looser, it's not actually possible to drive up that gradient with a tractor. That's how steep it is at that point where we are now. The final maneuver was again about 60 degrees, and it was too much for that tow bar. But now the TED is on a level gradient, and so it was safe to remove everything really, and use a little bit of human power for a change. So we're on a level gradient now, and just using the diameter of the rear wheels, which obviously gives you a lot of leverage, just to push it back into the workshop. And there you have it, safely in the workshop now. We've parked it so that there's plenty of space all the way around, so we can get to all sides and obviously do everything that we need to do. It's going to be there for a number of months, so I wanted to make sure we didn't need to move it again. Look, I hope that that's been informative, probably not very educational, but perhaps interesting, and obviously hope that you'll continue to watch. Subscribe if you like what you see. We've got a lot more interesting stuff to come, and we'll see you soon.